Well, welcome if you're joining this a little bit later after I've saved it to my IGTV. My name is Jo and I'm a certified personal trainer. Almost there with my yoga teacher training. I'm just taking my sweet time. Today we're going to be doing a 20 to 30 minute mobility basics video suitable for all levels if you've never done any mobility training before, or if you have done a lot of mobility training. We still all need these to preserve our full range of motion and to gain active strength and control in these ranges, right? And having strength and control in these ranges is going to help us in the gym, for performance benefits. It's also going to protect us from getting injuries, and which really stops some of those aches and pains and also some of the tightness we feel from, just going about our daily lives. So if you haven't tried any mobility training, I'm 100% certain it's the best kind of training for most people, but if you haven't tried it, let's go ahead and get started today. I'm just gonna go ahead. Hopefully y'all see me. Hopefully it's going good. It says I'm live. Let's see. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't think anyone's here yet, but that's all right. So today we're gonna be starting with the upper body, working into our shoulders and also into our upper back, and then with our neck as well. We're going to start by doing some CARs, which is controlled articular rotations. They're going to let us know what our ranges look like today. They're a great place to start if you're working on mobility. And then we're going to pair them with some active, what I like to call dynamic movements that start to work into those ranges and gain some strength. So kind of going back and forth between CARs and other movements here. So let's go ahead and begin. Hello, Tristan. Thank you for joining. Let's go ahead and get started today. So I'm going to start with the shoulders. So we're going to find a nice standing position. Let me know how the sound is. I'm trying out my new headphones, so you should be able to hear me. If you can't, just holler. I can see the comments really well here. If you have any questions, let me know as well. I'm able to see them from where I am versus my other class the other day, so should be a lot more friendly for me to be able to do these. Okay, so we're going to be starting with this shoulder bow and arrow opens. So I want you to find a nice stance here. We're going to screw our feet into the ground. That's going to make sure our core is nice and engaged. Okay, sound is good. Awesome. Core is nice and engaged when we do that. When we screw our big toes into the floor, we think about tucking our hips here. Core is nice and engaged, and we have this nice strong foundation. You might notice that when you do ground your toes into the floor that your glutes turn on, and that's a part of your core as well. So that's what we want. Okay, so we're going to be starting with some shoulder bow and arrows. So hands are going to come out in front. We're going to clap them together, and we're going to think about minimizing this torso movement and think about moving this movement with only our shoulders. So drop those shoulders away from your ears and then bring that arm to come across the chest here and to open behind. You can look towards it and then bring it back. I am quite tight here today, so y'all are gonna see what I actually look like when I am not warmed up. So we're just gonna warm up. All right, one at a time, bringing the hand across the chest. You can look back towards the arm. Whew. And finding this nice stretch here, but also we're really working very actively into our shoulders. So it's a little bit of both. That's what I like about mobility. It's a little bit of both, strength and stretch. And as I was saying before, exercises like this can help your athletic performance, but it really can also help in injury prevention for just someone who wants to live a long, healthy life. So these are great. Let's go ahead and do one more on each side. Ooh, that feels good for me. I need this so bad. I'm so sore from this bar class I took on Saturday, pretty sadly to say, but I still am. All right, is going to go ahead and release. Maybe we're starting to feel a little bit warmer here. We can take some circles with the shoulders one way and then the other. And we're going to be start with our CARs here, which is our controlled articular rotations. They're going to let us see what our range of motion looks like in each one of our shoulders. If you have an injury, if you're working with some pain today, you know what happens, we get those in our lives. I want you to find a range of motion in this that doesn't bring you pain. So if that means we need to take it like 25 to 70% and not at 100%, let's do that, right? Because as soon as we find pain, our body kind of starts to freak out a little bit and we're not really getting the most out of it, and also it doesn't feel good. So, all right, so we're gonna glue those toes back into the floor. That's gonna turn on through our glutes. Think about tucking the hips here so our core is nice and engaged. And then I'm gonna bring either my left hand to my belly or it can be in a fist. Find which one you prefer. And then right arm is also gonna be on a fist. Okay, same with the last one. We're gonna minimize this. I want you to keep the torso as still as we can. It's okay if it has to move a little bit, especially if these are new to us though. We'll mention that. All right, so big toes are squeezed into the floor, and then we're gonna bring that right arm over and across our body here, finding a place next to the ear, and then we're gonna drop our shoulder back into shoulder extension. This is the one that if we're having some pain in this area, we don't have to go quite as far back. We can stay out here as we find this shoulder extension here. Holding this for a second or two. And then we're gonna come up the way we came, across the body, returning to starting position. Let's go ahead and do 2 to 3 more just like that. I recommend taking these nice and slow. Once again, not pushing into pain. If we notice a spot that's a little bit sticky, just want you to come a little bit out of it. We do not have to take this to our fullest range today. Ooh. Hold that, and then come back the way we came. Let's do one more. I think 3 on each side sounds pretty good to me today, especially because I'm trying to make this video not super long, which I have a tendency to do. Hello, thanks for joining Refined Hardware. I think that's who that is. And then back to where we came from. All right. Notice where that one is. It really does help to videotape yourself through some of these exercises. I've learned a crazy amount just from filming myself for this. But ideally, we want to work to where both of the shoulders have a similar range. Hello. But that might not be where we're starting from today too. So just give yourself a little bit grace with that. All right, find the engagement through the legs again. If you lost it, right hand, it can come to a fist to keep tension, or to our stomach, whatever feels better. Drop those shoulders back and away from the ears. We're gonna do the same thing here. Left arm is gonna come across the body. We're gonna really try to not move the torso. We're only moving out the shoulder here. As we drop that arm back into shoulder extension. Ooh. You might hear some clicks and pops here. As long as they're not painful, they're just a pretty normal part of our joints. So don't be worried about that. And let's go ahead and take 2 more of those, moving nice and slow. And back behind us. If you're joining, these are called CARs. We're working on some CARs for our upper body as well as our neck, and working and doing some dynamic new movements with them as well. I mean, these are all dynamic, but these are a little bit different. All right, last one here. Bringing that arm across the body, next up to the ear, and then you can begin to drop that left arm behind. Ooh, I feel this side a little bit more for sure. Keeping the breath pretty steady here, guys. And then coming back the way we came and releasing. Awesome. Feel free to take breaks or watch this back later if we're going a little bit faster. Oh yeah, so we're already in 10 minutes. Okay, so I gotta get things going. All right, we're gonna keep that engagement into the ground here. Screw the big toes into the ground. Hands are gonna come overhead here as we find this nice prayer position. Core is engaged. All right, I'm just gonna begin on touching those hands somewhere down my neck, my back here. keeping my spine nice and straight. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be working into the upper back specifically. Nice, guys. A couple more here. If you're doing this later, you can take a couple more sets of what we're doing today, but this will be perfect for the amount of time we have today. And then go ahead and release. Okay, similar thing, but upper back this time. So we're going to cross our arms here. You're going to bring that chin towards the chest, and we're going to think about moving only through our upper spine. So we're going to hit a sticking point to where we have to move the torso, and then that is too far. We're going to stop there. All right, so chin comes down to the chest. We're going to see how far I can move my upper back over towards the right, and then I'm going to bring my right shoulder back behind me here, finding a little bit of a stretch, kind of lean into that right shoulder. And then we're going to circle over towards the other side here. You can lift the head until we find a place on the other side where we can't go any farther without twisting the torso. And then I'm going to drop the chin, lean into that left shoulder. Keep the breath. All right, let's do two just more like that. Bring those arms. This doesn't look like a lot of movement, but we're finding that spot to where I can't move my upper back anymore. My torso is going to have to tilt, and then I'm going to lean into that right shoulder and breathe. All right, and then I can circle my way around. Hopefully we're getting the hang of it. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, we're going to find that spot on the left side where we can't move anymore without moving the torso. And then I want you to lean into that left shoulder. Last one here. All right, chin down toward the chest. I'm going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to find that sticking point on the left side where I can't move my upper back any farther. Lean into that left shoulder. And then we're going to circle around to the other side. Ooh. Finding that sticking point on the right side, leaning into it. And then go ahead and release. Hello, welcome Dorian. Hello, I don't know everyone's names here, but welcome. Some of y'all's I recognize. Okay, so hopefully our upper back and our shoulders are starting to feel a little bit more loose. Yeah, we're gonna be working on the neck now. So let me know how those movements went for you. Okay, awesome. Neck pretty much works the same way here. So hands are gonna come to our fist on either side. We don't think about the neck a lot because it's like not one of those beauty muscles, right? I don't necessarily hear a lot of people training the neck to get a nice physique, so it kind of like goes to the waist side. But if our neck is tight, it's really hard to have a lot of mobility and flexibility. I notice in my upper spine, also in my squat, I feel like I'm like this. So yeah, it's really needed and also feels really great. And with everything that we do now in front of us, it's really needed for the body. Okay. Hands are to the fist here. I want you to glue those big toes in the floor. That's going to engage through our glutes, and tuck the hips here to keep the core on. All right. So I want you to bring that head down to the chest, and I want you to find that point on the right side, just like we just did with the other car, where I can't move my neck any farther without moving my torso. And at that point, I'm going to begin to carve out a circle with the nose over towards the other side. We're just isolating this movement at the neck. Going nice and slow here. If there's any sticky spots that are a little bit painful, do not go as far into the movement. Avoid that spot causing pain. Not needed. We don't really need to find the pain here to get a good workout in. We don't want to push into pain. By doing these, we can begin to release that pain eventually, but it does take the body some time. All right, I'm going to switch directions here. And then we're gonna go ahead and release. Yeah, it is. You're right. Physical exercise is the best. I agree. Okay, right arm is gonna come behind. Left hand is going to grab it. And then from there, keep those shoulders away from your ears. We're gonna lean over towards the left, finding a nice neck stretch here. Finding your breath. Keep your breath coming this whole workout. I would say this is more of like, yeah, this is a workout, but it's also be a great warm-up. A long warm-up, but a good warm-up. And then other side here, right arm is gonna come behind, left hand can grab it out in front, and we're gonna lean towards to the right here, finding that stretch on the left side of the neck, finding the breath. Awesome, guys. Hopefully the upper body is starting to feel a little bit better. I think I'm gonna do one more until we move on to the floor, because we did a lot of hip mobility in the last one. Okay, so I'm gonna face sideways. I'm gonna bring my hands out in front of me. Okay, so we're gonna be working the shoulders here. So we're gonna be protracting, we're gonna be elevating, we're gonna be retracting, and then we're gonna be depressing. And we're kind of going to take it one at a time. So I'll go it nice and slow with you here. Ooh, this one always feels so good to me. All right, so I want you to protract, push those hands forward, only with those shoulder blades, and then elevate towards the ears, retract, bring them back in towards the body, and then drop the shoulders away from the ears. All right, so you're gonna protract, elevate, retract, press, protract, elevate, retract, depress. These might be a little tricky your first time. Be compassionate with yourself here. It's not necessarily your body doing anything wrong. It's just that we don't train some of these, we lose these. So I'm sure after a couple times, if you come and rewatch this video, retry them again, you will find that they're a little bit easier. Ooh, last one here. So we're gonna protract, elevate, retract, and depress. Awesome. Give those shoulders a good circle here, a good shake out, and we're gonna be moving on towards the floor. Hopefully that went really well. Hello, Leslie. Good morning or afternoon. Okay, so we're gonna be moving on to the floor. We're gonna be working more cars, which are controlled articular rotations. They're a great place to start for everyone, beginner to advanced. We still gotta work on our cars. So yeah, they allow us to isolate each part of our body, each side of our body, and just to keep that range of motion full and big here before we work anything actively with a little bit more strength. Okay, so find your nice tabletop position on the ground. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. I want you to keep nice and soft elbows here. We don't need to lock anything out, but I do want you to push the ground away a little bit so we can stay strong through the shoulders. All right, so this one, we're gonna try to move only with the hip, only with the leg. So while we might have a little bit of torso torsion, let's try to minimize it, but be compassionate with yourself if this is your first time trying these, because my back definitely moved the first time I tried these. Okay, so left leg is gonna come in between the hands, and then I want you to kick it directly out here, flex through the feet, and then bring it back behind you, sole of the feet towards the sky. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Bring that left knee in towards the hands, kick out towards the side, keeping that back nice and flat here, nice and still, especially the lower back, and then kick it up. Last one here. Bring it in towards the chest, out to the side, and then kick it back. All right, guys, go ahead and release. Hopefully that went pretty well. I'm gonna be doing the right side now. All right, so bring that right knee in towards the body, kick it out towards the right side, keeping that back nice and flat, nice and stationary, and then kick that leg up towards the sky. Two more here. In, out, up. Nice and still with the back. Last one. In, out, and up. Okay, on this last one, I want you to cross that right leg behind the left leg, walk out through the hands, and give a good push into the hands here so we can stretch through that outer hip, maybe outer glute, and then switch sides when you are ready. Ooh. Giving those hips a nice little break. Nice. Maybe we're starting to feel our glutes have a lot of engagement here. Hello, hello. And we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next movement. Okay, we're gonna start with cat-cow. Yeah, we're gonna do some cat-cow. We have done a lot for our upper body today, as well as just worked into our hips. Cat-cow is gonna be a great one for our core. So let's do it. Find that strong tabletop again. I should probably bring this near me so I could see it. Do you think that would be a good idea? Okay. And then I want you to start moving really slow here. So from that strong tabletop with a nice flat back, let's think about lifting into our cow pose, starting with our lower back, going to our mid back, and then raising the head. Taking it nice and slow here. Coming into cat pose, starting by arching the lower back, the mid back, and then dropping it. Awesome, guys. I'm going to start these all with my back, my lower back here. Here's my tailbone. Nice and slow. All right, last two here. Go ahead and take them at your normal cadence, at your normal pace, and syncing up with your breath. Inhale for our cow pose. Exhale. And then go ahead and release. Okay, guys. What's going on next? We're going to stay where we're at. Knees are going to open up a little bit wider as we come into a child's pose. You need to peek at me because our foreheads are going to be on the ground. Okay, so walk those hands out. Allow the forehead to drop. And we're going to work on some active lat and shoulder mobility here. We're going to see if we can pick up one arm off the floor, the other arm. So option is to stay working here, driving that forehead into the floor here to lift, bring that forehead to the floor. You don't have to drive it there, excuse me. But begin to lift with the hands with the forehead on the ground. You can start with one at a time. Option to try both. And then third option here is to lift them up and away from the body. Circle them around to find your low back and bring them back, keeping the hands nice and high. Take these nice and slow. So option one is just working here. Option two is working home. Option three is to circle them behind. Go ahead and find one more, whatever variation that you are in. And then go ahead and push back up. Awesome. We're going to stay where we're at. I'm just checking how everyone's doing. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Refine Hardware. I want to know your name, so I don't have to call you that, so you can let me know what your name is. All right, guys. That's a mouthful. It's a great username. I just would love to know your name, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to be lowering on towards the belly here. These are a Cobra variation, so great for our posture, great for our hips. Really, I don't know what these aren't great for. So find a position on your belly here. If you have a yoga mat, that might make things a little bit easier. This grass is probably going to give me hives, but I will be okay. I'm in it enough as it is. All right, so I want you to extend through the hands here. Forehead is going to come back down to the ground. I like to tent the fingertips, but you can also keep them flat. And then I want you to bring them in towards the body here, and then lift up with the head. So we're starting in a straight arm position, arms extended, fingers tented, and then we're bringing the arms in towards the body and lifting the chest, driving those hips towards the floor. I'm gonna have to put my hair up on the next one, or else I'm gonna die here. All right, bring those arms next to the body, lift up with the chest, grow a little bit taller, push into those hips, and then go ahead and release it back down. All right, I'm gonna bring you through a little stretch here where we're at. So forearms are gonna come to the floor. I want you to push your hips down towards the floor, drive your forearms into the floor, and chest is nice and proud. Find your breath. Awesome, guys. And we're gonna push back up to a seat here, and we're gonna bring the legs off to one side, and I'm going to be finding position with the soles of the feet out in front of me. This has been probably one of my favorites lately for my wrists, and my core. Even I've noticed my shoulders and my back. So I've noticed that I have a lot of, or I used to have a lot of limiting mobility limits at my wrists. So because my wrists were tight, I wasn't able to get into my upper back. So for those of you who are struggling with back mobility, sometimes it starts in little places. So this is a good one. Hands are going to face towards you here. And I just want you to find this stretch with the soles of the feet on the ground. From here, I just want you to push your hands into the floor. I like to call this lawn chair. So for a lot of us, this is where we're going to stay. But option 2 is to begin to lift the hips off the ground. And then option 3 is coming into full reverse tabletop here. You can begin to go back and forth, getting some weight into the wrists, spreading to the palms. Last option here would be to extend through the feet, coming into shoulder, a full shoulder extension. Wherever variation you're at, I just want you to lower and lift, and lower and lift, and lower and lift. Last one here, lower. I told you you're getting upper body, and lift and drop it back down. I don't know what the time is today. We're gonna finish out with a couple stretches. Oh, hi, Jacob. Thank you for that. Okay, so hopefully our upper body is starting to feel a lot more warm. I wish I had a couple more minutes with y'all to do a little bit more into the hips, but you know what? We got a little bit of everything, so let's just find a little bit of a hip stretch here. All right, so from that, right ankle is gonna cross over the left knee, and I want you to sit up nice and tall. Keep those sit bones on the floor and press that knee away. Finding a nice breath here. Any of these movements that we did today are great to do. Just pick a couple. So like 1 to 3. I would say if you can do cars, any of those cars every day, do them every day. You don't need to do a lot. You can do 1 to 5. But those are really going to keep your range of motion and all of your joints nice and wide here and all of your ranges. Push that knee away here, that right knee away. And then, yeah, these are all great as you need, but also if you're going to hit the gym, if you're going to go for a run, if you're going to do, anything active, even if you're hiking, these are great to do beforehand to get the body prepped and ready. Go ahead and switch sides. So save this video for later. Especially if you're doing an upper body workout. I would say even if you're getting into some squats, so you can put that bar behind you, something we don't think about a lot, but I struggle with, so I just thought I'd mention, and give that left leg a push away from us. So yeah, these are all great for that. I think the next Mobility Monday, I'll focus a little bit more into lower body and core, but I think this was a great upper body intro. And then go ahead and let that one go. You can find a nice seat here. And that's all. Oh, we have 2 minutes left. I actually finished with a little bit of time. So if you have any questions, this would be a great time to pop them in. Also, let me know what you thought of this little class today. Yeah, would love to hear from y'all. Thank you so much for coming. I think we have some new people here, some people I've seen before, but thank y'all so much for showing up on your Monday, wherever you're at in the world. We are in Baldwin Park, California. We're gonna be here for, we'll see, to be determined. I'm gonna be probably having some little classes on the road the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna get myself a Wi-Fi hotspot so I can do all of my freelance and these classes as well. Oh, good. Yay, Tristan. I'm so happy to hear that. Yay. Had a lot of, I had you in mind doing some of these. So I'm glad that you got some benefit. But yeah, so we're going to be traveling around. We're probably going to head up to the coast here, go up to Oregon, Utah. Oh, that's kind of over here. But we're going to go up to Oregon, Washington, probably maybe make it away to Idaho, and then go back down through Utah and Colorado before returning home. So you might see some beautiful views the next couple of weeks from the road, but I'm gonna have a Wi-Fi hotspot, so it will all be good. Aww. Awesome. Yeah, so that's the newest thing with us here. If you didn't know, I've been traveling, and I will be traveling for the next couple years until we find out where we want to make home base. Not quite sure yet, but it's been really fun so far. We've been to Utah, which was good. There's some good friends there. It's just a little cold. And now we're in California. Aw, guys. All right, is there anything left? I will keep rambling on forever. I am a talker. But yeah, save this video for later. These would be great to do before your upper body session, before a squat session, before a deadlift session. Next class, next Mobility Monday, will be at the same time. I think this time worked out pretty good. And we'll be working more into the hips and into the core. And if there's one thing... Aw, thank you, Leslie. You are too. Oh my gosh, I miss you. If there's one thing that you can take away from class today is do your cars. We did a lot of different cars today, which was all the circular rotations. If you can get those 1 or 2 reps in during the day for each, if you did it for each joint, which we will work on eventually, that would be amazing. All right, guys, have a good day. I'm gonna be saying goodbye in a